Good evening and welcome to the Bobby Moore Stand. I'm Gary, he's Chris, and how you doing, Chris?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you? It's been a while. I haven't really spoken to you much this week, have I?
Well, there's been very little news around, and so we decided to kind of collect everything and talk about it in one show a week, which is what we did last week, right? So, this is got quite a lot to talk about, some sort of interesting points. So, pretty busy agenda. We'll be going for about an hour, I think. So we start off with. It seems pretty obvious that he's not going to start a striker from the pre-match comments of Potter today. Lucas Paqueta. Now, I know there's been a lot said about Lucas Paqueta, but I just want to remind people what he's actually been charged with, because it's not just about match fixing. There's another charge as well. So I think people seem to have forgotten that small fact. And I always thought that this other charge was a kind of backstop just in case the first one didn't come true. So I'm going to remind you all of the situation later. And then we'll talk about some other news. We've got some various bits of news that I think are quite interesting, especially around Potter's trip to Lille and who he was actually looking at. Did we mention that last week?
Yeah, I mean, without going into too much context, I know that Potter was out there. I know for a fact he was out there just around the Newcastle game.
Well,
what for? Could be one of maybe three reasons, because I understand there's three players that West Ham have been linked with at Lille. So I guess we'll see how that one plays out.
The two that we know about already in Jonathan David, which I always thought was a bit of a smokescreen, to be honest. Look over there. There's season tickets to be sold.
It worked, didn't it? me and you renewed.
Yeah. you renewed yours now, yeah?
Yeah, mate. I'm not going to turn down the 3 points. You know, it's just like it's too much of a lure. It really is. So I had to kind of do it. Yeah, and from what I understand, the points will roll on again, right? So we don't get them deducted. So the ticket office told me, which is decent, because I was really concerned that I'd lose half my points again, which you just go back to the beginning and it's just a pain. But no, I think we still got them. So hopefully that will put me in a decent position next season for more away games. So I weren't going to turn down the 3 points, mate. I had to do it.
Double benefits then. Double benefits. Is that
yeah. Potentially.
I just had to do it because next year is my 50th of watching live games. I weren't going to miss out on my 50th year. As disillusioned as I, have been at times, whatever.
I must admit that as soon as I did it, I put the phone down, and then I had to do it online. Because if I did it online, because I phoned them up first, I wanted to understand if I could relocate, because I wanted to go a little bit higher up.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, you have to do it online, because if you don't do it online, you don't get your 3 points." I was like, "Fuck, right, okay, I'll do it online." As soon as I paid for my tickets, I kind of sort of sat back, carried on with work, and I thought, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I doing it? But the funny thing is, I was always going to do it. I was never not going to do it. But you just kind of think to yourself, what am I actually? I mean, usually I'd be excited about the new season. I just like, just carry on. You know,
you got to do it. You got to do it. I mean, I like going to games. I don't particularly like watching football on telly that much.
Yeah, I know.
Having said that, tomorrow night I'm going to I'm going to a client dinner that I have to go to, so I can't even watch the game on telly, let alone go to it. I've been offered tickets for it as well, so
no prawn sandwiches for you tomorrow then, mate. No,
very disappointed, because I do actually feel, regardless of who he picks tomorrow, I do feel quite good about that one. I think we're going to get something out of that, don't you think?
Well, I will be going. And I'm hoping for a win, because my away record so far is really bad this season. So
yeah, you need a win. You need a win, and your new match day vlog equipment needs a win as well, doesn't it?
I'll see about that. I'm not sure if I'll see how I feel about doing that yet. I haven't decided.
Come on, you got to do it. Bite the bullet.
I may do it. It kind of all depends. I'll take my camera down there. But if it's an awful game, then I'm probably not going to release it. I'll see how it goes, mate. Yeah, I'll see how it goes.
Good evening to everyone in the chat, and me and Claire's in there as well, keeping order. So that's good. And I don't know if Matt's in there tonight. He said he wasn't going to be here, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, I think he's off, mate. He's off.
Yeah. Oh, that's a shame. So look, let's get on with the show. By the way, before we do, if you like the channel, you like what we do, there's not been much, many bits of content lately, but that's because there's been a lack of news and a lack of football matches. So almost a couple of weeks off. But if you like what we do, please subscribe to our channel, Bobby Moore Stand, here on YouTube. Hit the bell notification icon and give the video a like. So on to item number one, and that is pre-match conference today with Graham Potter. He said that Fulkrug will be in the squad and needs minutes. So in the squad is the big clue there. He's not going to be starting on the pitch. He's probably going to be, getting the treatment that a few of them have got, which is 30 minutes maybe at the end of the game, then maybe 40 minutes. He's played 45 minutes behind closed doors in a friendly.
Yeah, it was against Brentford, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah, and he's looked pretty sharp in training as well.
He has. Yeah, he has.
So he's good. I keep saying it. He's still a German international. He's still, one of their first choices up front. Strangely, but and he hasn't disgraced himself in the time he has been fit. He hasn't disgraced himself. It's his fitness record that has disgraced himself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we really don't know. I don't think anyone knows what they're going to actually get. What we're going to actually get out of full crew could be good. I think it will be if he gets a run of games. I'm just not confident he's going to get a run of games.
Yeah, I think only time will tell. I mean, I think he just, I don't know. We just need to kind of, whether starting him or not is too soon tomorrow. I don't know. You'd probably assume that maybe Ferguson would be higher up in the pecking order to actually start a game if we started with a striker. But there's a huge if on that, right? Because he's been here for 2 months. He played for Ireland the other day and played predominantly most of that game, from what I understand, and he scored. So really, I mean, he's got to be in a position to play now, right? I mean, what do you think of that old Ferguson situation?
Well, we'll talk about him now and what Potter said about him, because he went into a little bit of depth. I have been watching a little bit more West Ham content this week. The day after I made that last week, I had a bit of a flavour for West Ham, when we made that show, and I was talking to Gio in the comments and said Gio's the only one I watch. Not the only one I watch, but the next day, Russ made me laugh because I had a little look at his show first thing in the morning. He said, I was watching Gary last night. And he said, Gio's the only one he watches. So I said, I just left him a comment saying, yeah, Russ, I watched this one. Just don't tell anyone, right? Don't tell anyone. So, but I was watching just before we went live on here. I just wanted to see if there was any latest stuff. And Gonzo was talking about the press conference, and he said that he thought Potter came across as very spiky when pushed on the Irishman, on Ferguson. I don't think that's not my interpretation. I'm kind of sticking to my guns on this, and that is there's more to this than meets the eye. And I think the biggest clue was in one of the responses he gave, which was around you can't expect to join a Premier League club and walk straight into the team. And I'm just wondering, going back to what I speculated, what I was told before he joined the club, about him having a quite an odd attitude after he signed a new contract with Brighton. I'm just wondering whether he did in fact expect to walk straight into the team.
Well, I would kind of counteract that by saying we had no strikers, Gal. So by default, you would expect that if he was fit, he should be going straight into that lineup. Maybe not initially straight away for the first couple of games, getting his fitness back or whatever. So I don't necessarily buy that, because we didn't have a fit striker, Gal. So it was we needed that. We all know we needed that. With regards to the attitude situation, I mean, this is another thing I don't necessarily buy, because Potter will know the player because he managed him at Brighton. He's not going to be bringing someone in. Let's kind of get it right. At the end of the day, he's come in, new coach of West Ham. Do you really think that he's going to bring in a player that potentially could be a bit of a distraction in the dressing room, who's got a bit of an attitude problem? I don't see that. He's creating a rod for his own back if he does that. So yeah. I don't buy either of those arguments. I wonder, is it a situation of maybe he's still got an injury that seems to be carrying over a little bit?
Yeah,
I don't know. But then he's been fit and he's been on the bench. All right, maybe not complete peak match fitness, but he's been on the bench. So I don't understand why he hasn't been getting more minutes, and he's kind of like what he had in the last game, a couple of minutes cameo or 10 minutes here or there. He needs more time. He's had one half so far in terms of, I think in one game he played one half, didn't he? He got substituted. That's it. So for me, it doesn't make any sense. Unless the player is regressed so much, then that's possibly one of the only reasons I can think of. I can't think of any other reasons.
So you're saying just play a striker because he's a striker? Who are you going to drop?
No, but when he came in, I'm not saying right now, but when he came in and you said, look, okay, maybe the expectation was that he thought he would get straight into the lineup. I mean, I would have wanted him in the lineup as well, because we didn't have a striker at that point. We knew the problems, because at the moment we're essentially playing two wingers up front in Kudus and Bowen. So really we need someone. We need the outlet up front.
To be fair, both with excellent goal scoring records, apart from Kudus has forgotten how to shoot, but Bowen is still scoring, is still creating.
But they're not strikers, though, Gal. They're not strikers, are they?
Do you drop England's Jarrod Bowen to put Evan Ferguson up front?
No.
You drop Paqueta. Who are you going to drop?
No, for me, I'm taking one of the defenders out, Gal, because particularly Yeah, and I think we kind of need to do that now, because what we've noticed over the course of the last month or two is that, okay, defensively we look pretty sound, right? Playing the flat back
Are you going to
five
turn
when
that progress up though, and you're just going to go back
no,
to?
it's not about turning progress up, Gal, because at the end of the day, right, you've got to understand that we're in a position of complete security right now. We're not going to go down, and we're not going to get into Europe. We're going to be, I don't know, somewhere between 12th to say 16th place. We'll probably end up finishing, right? So what have we got to lose by playing a flat back four now? Because we know that defensively we're sound with five at the back. We're absolutely fine. We're not conceding loads of goals. So Graham Potter's done, tick, he's done a job there, right? He's definitely kind of shored up the defense, but obviously that's because we've been so defensive. So I think now he's got the opportunity, bearing in mind we've got Fulkrug back. Ferguson is going to be a bit more fit now after the international break. Is go a little bit more attacking. Just do it. Take one of the defenders out, play a flat back four, and then we can have the outlet up front, maybe a Ferguson or a Fulkrug as an example, probably Ferguson, and still play Kudus, still play Bowen, of course, still play Paqueta. Maybe it's a situation of taking up someone like a James Ward-Prowse and have Alvarez and Paqueta in the middle. I don't know, but I just don't necessarily think that we should be lined up with a five against Wolves, because if you look at Wolves just real quickly, and maybe we'll talk about them a bit later. I mean, their star player's out tomorrow. He's out. He's suspended, isn't he, Matthias Cunha? So I don't think they necessarily pose too much of an attacking threat. I don't. I mean, the only player that ever concerns me when we play against Wolves is Aït-Nouri, because he always seems to cause us problems down that left-hand side. And aside from him, they've got that lad up front, I forget his name, Larson or whatever.
Yeah.
He scored a couple. I think he scored a brace against Southampton. I don't think we've got that much to worry about from an attacking perspective. So let's just, do you know what I mean? Let's just put another body up front.
I agree with you. I don't think Wolves are an attacking threat. I don't. I don't. But it's a horrible place to go, Molineux. It's a very tight little ground. He plays 72 minutes for Ireland, says Zanussi. He looked knackered coming off though, and that's in a relatively pedestrian game, right?
Yeah. I mean, it is, but he scored. He's got more minutes under his belt. So why are we not in a position to actually start him now? I think this tomorrow is probably the ideal type of game where he should start. I do. Yeah. Whether he'll do it or not is another thing. But I'm kind of with you based on the thumb now, and based on what I'm hearing and what I've seen Potter say in his presser today. It does seem likely that he's going to stick with the same, and I just hope he doesn't. I think we need to kind of see progress from an attacking perspective. We've seen progress from a defensive perspective, but we haven't seen it up front. So this is the sort of game where I think we need to see that now, Gal. What's there? What is there to lose? I mean, honestly, what is there to lose? Nothing, really.
I'd say that it's more to do. Our defensive style is more to do with the ponderous midfield, ponderous functional midfield, than to do with the attacking options that we've got up front. I'm just saying, and I think. Yeah, I think I'd make even more changes than that. What Skeptic is saying there. I'd make even more changes than Ward-Prowse. Personally, I'd go with Alvarez, Soler, and Paqueta in midfield. That's what I'd do. Paqueta is available, even though his trial's going on. So that is what I'd do. I think we've got to get at them, and I would stick with Emerson on the left-hand side. It does kind of play itself into a 4-4-2, if you like, because we know we're fine on the right-hand side with what's his name, AWB, so that'll be fine. Let me just say here, there's a good point, and thank you for the super chat, Charles Pearson. West Ham played bad after a break. Yes, we do.
It's true. That's true.
Yeah, applies to Wolves, eh?
God, yeah, that is true. Actually, after every international break, we're always bad, aren't we? In that first game back.
Yeah. So we'll come to the whys and wherefores in a minute. I mean, I'm pretty sure, based on his words, that he's not going to play either of those two strikers, start either of those two strikers tomorrow. But I do feel he's going to give Fulkrug minutes, probably towards, midway through the second half or something. And I believe that I don't know what that does to Ferguson, because I think Fulkrug is the priority, obviously, because he's our player. And we kind of know we're not getting Ferguson at the end of the season, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, as it stands, I wouldn't want him, which seems unfair because he hasn't had minutes to really justify his kind of existence at West Ham. But again, I don't expect Fulkrug to be here next season either. But I would imagine that Fulkrug is going to be heavily motivated to kind of end the season on a relative high, because he's had such a disastrous season so far. Because at least that may well put him back in the shop window again.
And that's the biggest priority for us, right? That is the biggest priority, is to find a buyer for Fulkrug, because he's definitely not going to be here next year. Right? We don't end up putting him out on loan because of his age. You know, someone will use up his good year and then send him back to us, and we've still got him. I think another 2 years after that. It's a 4-year deal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? I mean, what is he?
Yeah.
32 now. He must be coming on 32.
Yeah, he's almost 32. Yeah.
See, I mean, that's just mental. I think, we need to get shot. We really do. I mean, we need to lose all of our strikers, in all honesty. I'll keep Mickey on just because he's Mickey. You know, I'd still keep him in the West Ham.
Another year, would you?
Yeah, I would do. I would do. I mean, dependent on obviously.
That's
No. It depends on the. It depends on his condition, Gal. Right. Obviously, there's the caveat there that it depends how kind of 50-50 his injury is. I mean, if it's kind of coincides that he's not going to last a game, of course I'm not going to. But I just feel like he's always, for me, never going to be a starter for West Ham moving forward if he did come back from injury. But certainly he might be able to be an option coming off the bench from a physical point of view. But that's about it. But no, we need to get shot of most of our strikers, and we need to get new blood in there. We need to get some young dynamic players in there rather than rely on Ings or Fulkrug or people like that.
Paul asked a question here. Dilemma, similar to the dilemma we posted last week, which is, what would you prefer, a 3-3 draw that where we deserve to win and play very attacking, or a 1-0 win with the same recent performances and only 2 shots? I mean, look, that choice, where we are at the moment, safe going nowhere, I'll go for the 3-3 draw.
I would.
I would take a loss instead of a 1-0 win, even if it's an attacking loss, right?
Yeah.
Let me be clear on that. I don't take any glory in getting beat.
I would take a 3-3 draw on the basis that we score a last-minute equaliser, just so it's a bit of limbs and it's something for me to sing about tomorrow night. And worthwhile me driving up to the Midlands to watch it, But 100%. I do want to see a bit of entertainment. I know you do as well. We kind of, I don't know, we've been conditioned to kind of just accept mediocre type displays.
No, I don't think that's true at all. I think, like, it's not a case of being conditioned. It's a case of what did we expect for the rest of this season. And personally, I didn't expect it to suddenly catch fire and we're playing attacking football, knocking the ball about, beating teams 4 and 5-0, attacking. I did not expect that for 1 minute. Is all I expected before he joined was a bit of stability and a gradual evolution of the team, which, and stop us getting thumped, right? Have a bit of, give us a bit of pride back. And I think he's done that part in spades. But because he's done that quite quickly, he's been kind of his own worst enemy, because people automatically thought the next step, once you stop us getting smashed, is to start attacking the opposition and throw men forward. It's really not the way.
I expected the same thing, Gal. I mean, I expected some semblance of stability, definitely. So I'm in agreement with you there. But just me, based on my experiences at West Ham for the last couple of seasons, I think I have been conditioned to just accept kind of relatively mediocre performances. I don't go into games excited anymore. And the reason I don't even think about it too much is because I have been conditioned to think that way. I have.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, look, I'll just take it. I don't think what happens this season and my expectations this season has any bearing over what I expect as a football supporter. I go into next season expecting a team to be attacking the opposition and trying to win games.
Yeah, I do as well.
Is what it is, right?
No, I do as well. I do as well, but I also think that we have nothing to play for now, Gal. So, like I said, we are safe. So why not try and go out and attack teams? Let's see the other end of what we can do now. We've seen what we can defend with 7 or 8 defenders, out of possession. Let's see what we were like, in possession, so we can start, pushing bodies forward. That's what I really want to see. I'm just, I don't want to see this backward, sideways, cautious approach. I just want to see us go out there and attack teams because we have got the players to do that. I don't
think that it's come from the midfield though, Chris, because
of course it is.
The midfield has just been
it's pedestrian, mate. It's
bloody ordinary. It's so ordinary. It's made them functional, so we're not getting smashed anymore. And that was the weakness that we had last season. Playing Ward-Prowse and Soucek and Alvarez was terrible, right? He's got them working, so we're not leaking a load of goals now. He's giving providing defensive cover is what they're doing, but they're not getting forward, right? There's no transition. If there is a transition, it's very, very slow, and you're not making anywhere near the best out of Kudus or Bowen, are you? No. Interesting point from Mandy. Well, as well, on this point, Guilherme is back alight. I've relit him, so I think that is that's a good thing. I still would like to see him get some game time. I think maybe it's going to be towards the end of the season, but with Paqueta, Fulkrug, and Somerville out, he has no future under Potter. I think that's a fair point. I think if he gets no minutes before this season, you can. That's a safe assumption, isn't it? Really, Somerville. That's an interesting one, isn't it? Because apparently he's not receiving. He's not going to go for surgery.
Well, he's refused it, isn't he? From what
Yeah.
I understand, from what I've read, he's refusing. He feels that he can get fit, just by kind of leaving the injury.
I'm surprised by that, Chris. I just thought it was part of your obligation to make yourself fit and available for games, and if that involves surgery, I know you can't force someone to have surgery, but I thought that would be every footballer's choice to get back to fitness rather than wait for it to heal naturally. I mean, I don't.
Maybe that's the advice he's been given by the medical team. I don't know, but either way you look at it, he's out for the season now. He's not going to start until next season, so that's him done, isn't it? But I think that the last comment, I think is a valid point because it's strange that he cannot get any minutes, particularly when you consider the lack of options. But again, maybe it all depends on the formation that we play tomorrow. Maybe he might get some minutes, but I doubt it. I do doubt it.
Who would you go with tomorrow? What team would you go with? What would you start with?
Areola in goal, which by the way, he's got a very interesting new look. He's kind of gone from 70s porn star look to, I don't know, like 80s hip hop look, with the braids and everything, right? So I'll play Areola. He's got his braids now and everything looks different. So I'd have Areola in goal, no question. I'd play AWB at right back. I'd play Todibo, Kilman. I'm inclined to say I would probably play Scholes over Emerson just because I want to see him get a continuation of more games this season.
But you're going 4 and you'd still go for Scholes.
Yeah, because I think Scholes is a better fullback than Emerson. I think Emerson's I do think who Scholes better wingback than Emerson. I mean, look, I've not seen enough of him to say he's a better wingback at this moment. But at the end of the day, he is a fullback. Yes, he used to play left midfield, didn't he, for the youth team, right? But I would want Scholes to start primarily on the basis that I want him to be our first choice left back next season. And if he gets a continuation of games, I think that's only going to help him in terms of his development. So I would play him over Emerson. Emerson's time is coming to expiration at West Ham. I can imagine him going next season, maybe to Juventus or somewhere. So let's play the future now. Let's do it. Like I said before, this game, I don't think it's dead rubber because actually I think these games are an opportunity for players to step up. I do. And also for us as a team to try different things as well. So I play Scholes at left back as a flat back 4. I think in midfield, I would play right wing. I would play Bowen. I think I would probably play. I would play Alvarez with probably Paqueta in midfield.
Player 3 of Bowen, Alvarez, and Paqueta.
No, I would play. So I'd have 4 at the back, and then I'd probably play Bowen wide right.
Yeah.
I think in the middle, I would play Alvarez. Probably Soucek and Paqueta.
Right.
Kudus on the left.
Yeah.
And then, have I got too many players here?
Yeah, you have. You've gone 5 across the middle, yeah?
Okay, 4, 5, 1. Yeah, and then I play Ferguson up front.
Right.
So you've got Kudus, Bowen, Soucek, and Paqueta. Alvarez in the holding role, so he's playing as a CDM, a proper number 6 there. And then I play there, and then I play Ferguson up front. And then you've got license for like the likes of Paqueta to roam a little bit. You're still playing Kudus in a position where he's still pretty strong. I know that he's better on the right, but still playing him on the left, I think he's not a bad option. Bowen on the right, Ferguson up front, Paqueta maybe just in behind him, and then you've got Soucek and Alvarez, but primarily Soucek playing a bit further forward than Alvarez because I don't think Alvarez needs to have that kind of partner in there and that kind of holding role. That's what I would do, something like that. I haven't really thought about it, but yeah, something like that. If that enables us to play a striker, definitely. What about you? I know you said you'd play Soler.
I'd probably stick with the same defence as we did last week. I don't think Emerson came in and he played really, really well. I don't think you can just drop him. That's what you're looking for out of Emerson, right? You give Scholes a rest. It doesn't, to me, have any bearing over Scholes' future. This is just he's out of run of games. Emerson was in bad form. He's been made to sit it out. That's given him the kick up the arse that he needed because he was good last week. And I think you wait until he stops being good and then you drop him again. Either way, he's gone in the summer anyway, like you said. So I don't think it really matters that Scholes plays all of the remaining 9 games or half of them or something like that. I don't think it has any bearing. So I'd go with that. I think I'd like to see a striker. Of course I would. I absolutely would like to see a striker. And I think if you're going to play with a striker up front, it's either, you're either going to go 4-4-2 or 4-5-1. That would mean going with Todibo and Kilman in the middle. I think Kilman would be right up for this, being his old club. He won't want to fuck up in front of them. Emerson out left. I think it'll be. I think the reason he played that defence up at Everton was because he knew it was going to be a real battle of full-grown men footballers, right? It was going to be very, very, very tough physically, and it was. So I think it was the right choice. But I think I'd reward him for playing well there, and so I'd give him. Go for a 4-5-1 sounds fine to me. I think I wouldn't probably go any different to what you just picked, apart from maybe dropping Soucek for Soler.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you'll ever see that happening. I know this is our choice, in your opinion, but I don't see that happening. I mean, whether or not we'd go at 4 at the back, I don't know. But I like the idea of having that 5 and Ferguson, because ultimately, if Paqueta isn't supporting him, I'd expect him to get further forward and be that kind of link between link between the midfield and the attack. But equally, if Paqueta drops a little bit deeper, then Bowen can kind of join him. So you're switching to a 4, or Kudus can join him. You're switching to a 4, right? That's how I would kind of see it in my mind. Just want to see striker, mate. That's it.
It's from Trudge. It's the fact that Emerson has gone. Is it? He's gone. Is it? At the end of the season? Well, look, that's everything's just a rumor until he's fact, Trudge. I think it's common knowledge that he's been wanting to go back to Italy for several summers now, and now because I think he's got a year left on his deal, it's the perfect time to make a little bit of what's left out of his value. This is Randy. I know it's aimed at Trudge. It's tricky as well. If Soucek does get an offer in the summer, we would have to think about it more than even more, because he splits opinions. He really does, and that is a big decision for Potter, because there's definitely going to be an offer on the table from Moyes. We know. I would take the money. And say thank you for your service. You've been brilliant for us. It's been checkered. We know he's a limited footballer. We know he'll score goals for Everton, right? Because that is the system that Moyes will eventually deploy.
Yeah, no, I would take the money as well. If you can get, say, circa 20 million for him, I think that's a no-brainer. You take it. But you can't avoid the fact that I know that he gets a lot of stick, and I give him stick sometimes because he frustrates the hell out of me, particularly with his ability. Technically, he's not the greatest. Yeah. His passing is pretty woeful at the best of times. So I would definitely take the money, but again, only get rid of Soucek if you're going to go out and you're going to invest in a proper box-to-box midfielder, someone who's technically a lot more gifted than Soucek. That's what we need, and that would be a huge upgrade and a replacement and enhancing that midfield if we can do something like that. But yeah, mate, I don't know. I'm always in two minds about Soucek. When I say I'll start him tomorrow, I'll start him because I feel that he always gives us an option to nick a goal. He does. He finds himself in the right, in the right time, the right place, whatever. So that's my reasoning behind playing him. Yeah, I'm kind of with you as well, because there's part of me that wants to play Soler because I think maybe he's got a bit more creativity about him. But you know what? I'm okay with that team, providing we have a striker up front. That's what I'd like to see.
It's the only thing that worries me really is the ball playing midfielders with in the middle for Wolves, and that's why I think Soucek is not suitable. He tends to get passed around like a traffic cone when he's playing up against football.
Do you think, right, just based on what you said just now, do you think we're going to play the same formation against Wolves with the 5? Out of possession, the 5, 3 in possession, whatever you want to call it. Do you think that's what we're going to do?
Well, look, I'd like to see something else. I'd like to see something else. But at the same time, I don't know. It's away from home. Different rules apply away from home, don't they? You're more expected to play an attacking formation at home and really go for it. But it is Wolves. They don't score goals typically.
Well, one of the reasons why I want to play the flat back 4 as well is because I've also got in my mind that Ait-Nouri always seems to cause us a lot of problems on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
So if we have Wan-Bissaka pushing too far forward, that could create space in behind. So I'd like Wan-Bissaka to play as a fullback tomorrow, and nullify his threat in the game. Because he does bomb forward. He does bomb forward a lot. And as I say, I think defensively, particularly in the middle, we shouldn't really have too much to worry about. I don't think we should have too much to worry about with Matheus Cunha out.
I agree. I'd be gutted if Soucek goes to Everton, says Claire. I think, Claire, you're going to have to get your head around this one. I think he's definitely going to Everton. I think there's never anything more certain. This is like when Moyes went to Man U. He was definitely coming back for the permed one, wasn't he?
Oh, Fellaini, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I've always going to have a soft spot for Soucek because I think he has been a great servant to West Ham, and for everything that he lacks in ability, he makes up for in terms of endeavour and effort. He does. You can't ignore that fact. He's always works hard for West Ham, and that's what we always expect as fans, right? We expect them to kind of wear their heart on their sleeves, and that's what he does.
This is important as well because he's scored a lot of goals for us this year. You know, I think he's close to being our top scorer again. If he didn't score half our goals, it would be a simple decision. Yeah, but I think he scores half our goals because of the style of football that we play. And I think when you've got him, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you've got him, you've got to play him. You're going to play him because of who he is and the commitment and the training and the leadership and everything else. But it does kind of dictate a certain style of football that suits him.
Yeah. It does, yeah, it does, and it weakens us in many respects, sadly. But he does, as you say, he has the knack to score goals, and as I say, he's our joint top goal scorer, 7 goals.
Yeah.
I know Katrina's with the stats again, but thank you. Yeah, no, seven goals and 1 assist.
Yeah, no, it's a good return, isn't it? It's a very good return.
It is.
We've got another super chat or something. Like buses, these things. Thank you, Blocker. The super chat, £5. Shout out to you if you want a mediocre football. Come up to Coventry. Yeah. Let's see what your prodigal son, Fat Frank, is saying. Yeah, Fat Frank. See, he landed somewhere, didn't he? He landed somewhere. So, you know, that is. I thought he was going to be out of football forever, but no, he's like a turd that won't flush, isn't he? Really? Sorry, I don't.
He might come back good. You never know. You never know.
He'll end up as West Ham manager one day.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine that with Paul Ince as his assistant? Yeah.
Yeah, but it is traditional for Frank to just miss out on the playoffs or to lose in the playoffs, isn't it? So you know.
God, yeah, that's true. Actually, he did it with Derby, didn't he? I think.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he had the biggest budget in the Championship at Derby, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, he done a good job there, but yeah, he probably should have got taken him up. Actually, in all honesty.
Yeah, here's another one. The magnificent creature that is, you know, the statue, the you know, the Adonis that is Mavropanos. Mavropanos is definitely going to go. I think he's still worth good second-hand money, right? He's we'll get best part of 20 million for him from Germany. He'll be perfectly suited to the Bundesliga, right? His stats are still very good. Yes, we know he has brain farts and he makes fuck ups because he does.
I disagree with you completely, mate. I do not think we'll get 20 million from Mavropanos. I don't see that happening in a million years.
No, I said around 20 million, Chris.
All right, then. So half it's about 10 million. I would agree with you. But 20 million.
No. We're going to have to put money on this. We're going to put money on this. I reckon he's going for between 16 and 20.
Oh, never. I'll take your money, mate. I'll bet you 50. I'll bet you 50 now with no way we're selling him.
50? Yeah. No, what are you doing?
Well, I'm just saying. This is my belief. I don't think
I can't deny it.
Yeah, but no, you'll probably say, yeah, but he's got add-ons and appearances and everything just to take him over 16.
Does that include add-ons?
We won't even know what the bloody add-ons are. So that's
no. But he usually says deal including add-ons. So if we're going to include add-ons, I'll take your bet.
Add-ons? Well, no, I'm not, because the add-ons could be something ridiculous that will never be achievable. So I'm not going to take that bet. I'm talking about 16 million. Yeah. You know, as a transfer fee.
No, Claire. He still has value. He's got value. 16 to 20 million. That's worth of value.
No, he's not. He's not worth that. Like, you know, when you say that, you know, his stats are really good. That the only stats that I care about are the ones where he's making mistakes, and that is consistently up there every single bloody game. So I don't think they're that great at all, Gal. Yes, he's physical. Yes, he's quite imposing. Blah 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 blah. But you know what? No, he makes a mistake every game, Gal. He concedes goals, and he basically makes us lose games. So no, he's not.
Yeah, fair enough. The club but people don't know that if you look at his stats. The club have to get the only know if you're watching West Ham, you think, the club have to get the summer right. The squad must be upgraded, and if we get it right, do you think, you know, again, it's a big upgrade for the second summer running. Do you think that we're going to finish the job and upgrade everything that needs upgrading in one more summer, or is it going to take another summer? Going to be another iterative step?
I think you're talking about a good season, 2 seasons, mate. And it's not going to happen next summer. Did you hear what Tim Steiten said? He said it takes 8 windows. 8 windows. Bloody hell, mate.
8 windows in the Premier League.
I know. When I read that, I was like, what's he on about? 8 windows to get the team right. Flipping heck.
Well, he said he told that to Sullivan, and he said, yeah, that's all right, son. That's all right. We'd give you 8 windows. No problem, son. Yeah. And then he changed his mind because he realised he had someone he could throw under the bus. He did great at Derby. He took him from 5th to 5th.
Yeah.
Claire, you're welcome to join Chris in my bet if you like. 16 to 20.
You know what you're talking about, Claire. He's not worth that. He's not
deliberately siding with you. Look, Darren Middleton going 10 to 15. I resent this, you know. I resent it. No,
He's
okay,
quite close to you there. 15 mil. That's only 1 million shy of your
but
16.
he's still undermining me and going with you, and he's taking sides down.
I think you've still got a bit of a soft spot for Mavropanos, Gal. I do, because the fact that you're rating him up to £20 million tells me that you still think there's a player there.
Statistically, honestly, it was one of those shows that I listened to, and they're going through current squad values. When you look at his stats, he's actually very, very dominant on the floor, quite dominant in the air. They haven't got a stat for losing your mind. So lucky. Showing him Mavropanos 90 minutes. He was brilliant. He was brilliant against England.
He was. Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
If we could have that version, on his day, but how many of those days does he have?
Well,
like one in every 30 games or something.
He needs to be a part of. He needs to be paired up with a dominant defender, because his best game for us was with Ogbonna when we beat Arsenal away, wasn't it?
I think, look, honestly, I think no matter who you pair him up with, I think his partner just gets shaky thinking, shit, I've got Mavropanos next to me. No, look what's happened to Kilman. Why is it that Kilman plays worse with Mavropanos? He does. It's a fact. If you want to talk about statistics, you look at the statistics of when them two have been playing as a pair. Kilman's worse. He plays worse. Kilman plays a hell of a lot better with Todibo. And guess what? It's because Todibo is a much better player than Mavropanos. It's as simple as that. So no, he's not worth. He's not. Honestly, he's just. Nice.
So Randy says it has to be Gary and Chris. The board have no hiding place. They really need to fix the situation they put us in if we want to be competitive and try and rectify following seasons. We will be fine. I don't know. I have no faith. I have no faith in the ownership, given all the firstly, supplying all the money needed, all the funds needed, because I read even today that there's Spurs being linked with Kudus because West Ham are falling short of PSR. Now, by all means, Kudus, Mo, go to Saudi with my blessing. We'll take the 84 million. Don't you dare go to Spurs. Don't you dare go to Spurs.
Did you hear what Potter was saying about Kudus in the presser today? I mean, he was saying that even by his own admissions, like Kudus's own admissions, he knows that he hasn't had a good season and everything else.
Yeah.
There is this part of me, like, where you think, okay, based off of this season and the performances that he's put in this season, 84 million, you'd snap someone's hand off for that, right? Yeah. You would do, because he's not been anywhere near that value this season. But you do know, and we all know what a player he is. So there's this part of me that's kind of, I wouldn't let him go if, and again, there's no guarantee around this, if he could get back to the player he was last season, then that is just a game changer for us, because you know he is a game changer on his day. So if he can get it right and get back into gear again and play well like he did last season, next season, then of course I wouldn't want him to go for 84 million, because he's an outstanding player on his day. So you can put it down to sometimes just a really shit season, and maybe he'll come good again. But my only kind of concern is he angling for a move? I just don't know. You know, you never know with these things. We don't know. You know, we don't know what he's kind of where his head's at with all of this kind of stuff. If he does stay next season, does he want to? Well, you know what I mean. What's the worst case scenario? He stays, not worst case, but he could stay at West Ham. He could become really good next season. We get more money for him, you know, the season after. So I don't know.
This was ever in the plan for him to still be at West Ham, right? He was supposed to be going to Arsenal, Liverpool, someone like that. So I would say he's probably prepared to push for a move. Do I think he's deliberately playing inside himself? No, I don't. I think he's a very honest pro, and I think he gives it his all. The way he played against Arsenal was outstanding, absolutely outstanding. So I don't think he would deliberately not give it his all. I think he wants to try and earn that move by delivering it on the pitch. And I think, if anything, he's been trying a bit too hard when he's in attacking positions to try and make sure that something will happen, rather than taking a gamble, which is what he was doing last year. We won't get top 10 until Potter gets the best out of Bowen, which he isn't. All our best players out of position. Well, not really. I mean, Bowen's playing on the right. I don't know. I don't think all of our best players are playing out of position. I think that's a broad statement.
I think a few of them are.
Owen is, yeah.
I think a few of them are. I think it's a fair statement to say that a few of those players are playing out of position.
Who's that? Go on, tell me.
Kudus plays out of position. Okay.
If what you look at, say, position? Right wing.
Well, no, right wing, or you could play him potentially as a kind of like attacking midfielder of the three. I don't know, like as a cam, just behind the striker.
Once.
Yeah, not much yet, but this is the thing. He used to play there for Ajax, though, Gal, right? So where have we been playing him predominantly at West Ham? Most of the time, it's usually on the left. and that's not really his best position. So you could arguably say he's been playing out of position. When you look at Bowen in more recent times, well, look, in effect, he's playing as a striker. So him and Caduce are playing almost like as 2 false nines or 2 10s or whatever you want to call it up front.
Yeah.
So they are playing out of position. James Ward-Prowse, he's playing out of position. He plays too deep. You know, we see it. He plays too deep. You know he's better when he's playing further forward. So I think there are players that play out of position. I do. Not everyone, but certainly a few of them are.
This gets my vote from Claire. Let's sell Mavropanos to Spurs.
I'd love that. I would love that. Honestly, that would be brilliant. That would be absolutely brilliant. It'd be brilliant for Spurs.
He's the player they need. He's the player they need to shore up that defense without a shadow of a doubt.
Oh, he's a great player. He's a great player. Yeah. Great player for Spurs.
This was the same article on the Spurs web where they said they might also be going to for Grealish, by the way, which is what Paul says here. So yeah.
Well, I can see him leaving the City because he's not getting a look in, is he? Really? He's going to have to leave.
Waste of a career moving there. He was a player they did not need. So let's So look. We've done our formations. We've spoken a little bit about the Wolves game and about who we think is going to pick versus who we'd like to pick. What are you going for? What's your score prediction? Let us know in the chat what your score predictions are. Peter.
I am going with 3-1 West Ham. I've not done this for a long, long time, Gal. I haven't. And you know that's my usual prediction.
Ooh,
I do think that we're going to win tomorrow. Yeah. And I think providing we get it right in terms of personnel and formation, I believe that we can get there and win 3-1. I do.
Yeah,
I can. What about you?
Yeah, I'll go with that. I think I'm going to go for 2-0. 2-0 to us.
Okay. I'll take either, mate. I'll just take a win. I'll take a 1-0 win. If honestly, I just want to see us win away from home.
Will my amazing prediction record come true again, Chris? What do you reckon? Because
I don't know. This is. I think this is in your head, Gal. I don't know what amazing predictions that you've got right this season. Once.
I'm knocking my record, Chris. You know.
Tell me which ones you've got right. Come on, tell me which ones you've got right.
I think the last one, Everton 1-0.
Yeah, that's it.
What about all those ones early in the season? I was on a run. It was about 4 or 5 in a row.
I don't remember. If anyone in the chat remembers Gary and his consistent predictions coming
No, it might not have been score prediction, but it was result prediction.
Yeah. Oh, bullshit. You can't count that. That's ridiculous. Anyone can say, yeah, we're going to win that game. We're going to lose that game. You got one in 3 chance, mate. I can't do that. We're about score predictions here.
No, you get 1 point for a win, right? Could be right, Mark. 1-0 or either 0-0. 3-0 West Ham win, going all the way. Claire's
love that.
Going for it. 2-1 West Ham late winner. Bowen. Ooh, I don't want
to take a late winner though.
I think 2-0 and then at half time just take all the good players off and do what we do against Leicester, right, Chris?
No, I love it when you get a late winner. There's nothing better than getting a late winner, particularly away from home. So I'll take that 2-1 away from home, 1-0 away from home. I don't care.
Yeah,
but last minute winner, yeah, definitely. But I would like to see us pepper in their goal a lot and then getting that elusive goal right at the end. That'd be perfect.
We always like it. Listen, even a last minute equaliser like the one against Fulham, there was limbs everywhere at that game. It was funny, so funny. So a lot of people are going a little bit dull here. There's no way that Grealish is still worth 100 million, by the way. No way.
What has he got to be now? About 28, 29? So he's losing value based on the age, the older he's getting.
He's worth about 40, if that, I reckon. Our predictive 3-1-2 says Mrs. Katrina Chambers.
Sorry, just to put this one up here from Claire, right?
Yeah.
Chris says this every time. I haven't said this every time, Claire, right? I've stopped saying 3-1 for quite a while, actually. This is the first time I was
winding him up about it.
No. It's because it doesn't. Whatever, right? Yeah. All I'm saying, I've not said 3-1 for a very long time. I haven't. It's been like 1-0, 1-1. I have not really said that, so you're wrong on that. Sorry.
2-0 West Ham, that's right, Jason. I want to see Alvarez playing. I do. 3-1. Lots of people going 3-1.
A lot of people are saying 3-1.
Yeah. They did this last time. You went,
and so's Claire. And so's Claire saying 3-1. No, 3-1.
Just not. Well, I'm not saying they copied you. They've got their own minds, but at the same time, it seemed a little bit strange to me that nobody would follow 1-1 last week, which 2 weeks ago, which turned out to be bang on the money.
I think a lot of people called a draw on that. I think they did actually.
Whatever.
They did. You're not taking all the credit. A lot of the chat can take credit for this as well.
I can only take credit when I'm right. I was right. Very, very right.
God.
It's an objective measure, Chris. You're either right or you're wrong. Yeah, I was right. Okay, so.
Okay. Sorry, Claire. She was talking about your predictions. Not mine. Oh. Okay. So you're the one that gets them wrong. Okay. You're the one that says it every week.
Claire.
Yeah. Cheers, wrong. Claire.
Out of order. God's sake. Right. So let's talk about another couple of bits of news, right? Because there was an interesting thing that came out. I mean, firstly, the Kudus to Saudi for 84 million. I think we can safely say that we'd take that, right?
Yeah, I mean, on current form, yes, but I'm still in two minds because
current form is all you got, Chris. Current form is all you got. You don't know if the X form is going to come back, right?
Okay, so let me pose it slightly different to you. If you were to say, right, 84 million now, or Kudus guaranteed to have a good season next season, back to the Kudus of old, what are you going to do?
Oh no, I'll keep him.
Okay, but so that's the dilemma, isn't it?
That's a big risk because you ain't getting 85 million if he has another bad season.
But how long is his buyout clause?
It's done, I think.
What, so after this season, then he could go for less than the 85 million? Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then in that case, that kind of puts a different stance on that question, doesn't it? So yeah, if that's the case, then I would take the 85 million now. But if it stayed in place, that buyout clause, then I would keep him for another season because I still think that he's a great player, and we don't have enough great attacking players in my mind. So I would keep him.
I agree. But I can see 85 million when we need funds because there's a stuff about Paqueta that we're going to talk about now.
Yeah.
Now that could either go, it could go one of three ways, right? It could be completely guilty, loses his career. It can be completely innocent. He gets off scot-free and everybody sues the FA, right? There is a middle ground. And let me explain what that middle ground is. I just want to remind people of this because people seem to have forgotten. When you look at all of the, what I've seen in the media about what might happen, not just media, various channels as well, what might happen, speculating if he gets found innocent of all charges, then we're going to take him to cleaners. Paqueta's going to take him to cleaners. We kind of alluded to some of this last week because I think it is true. If he gets found completely innocent, that is what will happen. Bloody right too. But I think the FA played a little bit of a game with this one. There were two sets of charges. First of all, he was charged for spot fixing or based on 4 games. And the evidence supporting those 4 games, I think it boiled down to 1 game, which was the Bournemouth one, which we think has been ruled out because mitigation was provided by David Moyes in person. He turned up and said, no, he didn't want to play, right? So I think there's very little evidence in terms of actual hard physical evidence to link him with the actual, sports fixing, if you like. So that brings us to the second charge. So say he's innocent of that. He was also charged with 2 breaches of FA Rule F3 in respect of alleged failures to comply pursuant with FA Rule F2. What that means is really rules F2 and F3. It's about providing everything that you're requested to provide in a timely manner. Phones, information, and I know that they had already considered him that he'd breached that because I don't know, something like his dad's phone, his girlfriend's phone, all that kind of stuff. There was also the thing where they asked him for his phone twice and he couldn't give it the second time. To me, if it's all based on that, it's utter bollocks, right? That shouldn't count. But I just wonder why they charged him with 2 cases of that. What is that based on? Because what could happen here is they find him guilty of that, give him a ban. It'll be a shorter ban, obviously, but it will still make him valueless to us. But that will ensure that the FA, no one can point the finger at the FA and counter sue.
Yeah, no, exactly, because they don't want to see, with egg on their faces, right? So if Paqueta is found innocent with regards to those charges, specifically in relation to the betting charges, essentially, then of course, I think they're going to want to come up with something else because otherwise they're liable for us to fucking sue them silly, mate. I'm not being funny because you look at the bigger picture here. And it's not just West Ham; it's also Man City. They had him. What was it, 85 million or something, or 100 million, whatever it was that they essentially kind of agreed a price of West Ham for. So there's a whole kind of chain of events that could have turned out very differently if this wasn't brought up in the first place.
No.
You look at the form that he's been in as well. I mean, you can arguably say that as a result of this, it's turned the player's head. He's not been on his game.
Completely, and all that stuff will come back to bite the FA in the arse. But this is what I mean by not considering the full picture. Randy said here, I think he's innocent, but you're thinking only about the charges of betting, of match fixing. That's irrelevant if they're finding him guilty, Randy, of withholding evidence. If
But
you
as you
like,
say, though, Gal, if they do find him guilty for withholding this evidence, then the ban is going to be significantly shorter. It's going to be incredibly less severe.
yeah,
So I still think there is huge grounds to say, well, actually, do you know what? He's not being found guilty for the betting, for the actual main charge of what this whole case has been built around.
yeah,
I think there is a huge case for West Ham and for City and for the player himself to go back to the F and say, right, I'm going to take this further now that I've been found guilty. Just to let it drop seems a bit unlikely to me because it's put probably the player through a hell of a lot of stress, West Ham through a lot of pain. Not that I care about City, but there's a lot of people here that it's affected. And the fans, of course, as well, right? We've seen like 50% of a player. That's what we've seen for the last couple of seasons. So
yeah.
I don't know.
This is the sick thing, and it's not. I don't even apply to Man City. It applies to Chelsea as well. The FA are corrupt. I think Man City will get away with their charges, 100+ charges of breaching, financial irregularities, whatever, breaching PSR and FPR. Scared of lawyers. They are scared of lawyers because they don't have the money. They had to remortgage apparently Wembley Stadium hugely to chase after this Paqueta case. So you're just thinking, why? Why did they do it? If it was such a risk, you'd have to know that you're going to win to take such a fucking huge risk, wouldn't you?
Let me ask you a question. Right? If Paqueta is found not guilty, and let's say, for instance, he gets, I don't know, 5-match ban, 8-match ban, whatever it's going to be, do you think there's danger still Paqueta leaving West Ham at the end of the season and joining another club?
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I think he's gone.
I think
if he can carry on playing, he won't feel he owes us anything. He'll just be gone.
See, that would be unacceptable for me,
my point here, right? Yes, you're right. If he gets found completely innocent of all charges, yeah, it could be worth a lot of money. But what if he gets found guilty of not supplying the evidence in a timely manner? Because that's the second charge. They're independent.
Yeah, they're independent, but I don't see how that is going to be. Well, it's clearly not going to be as severe, is it?
Not having the evidence to prosecute a case.
Well, regardless, they had his phone. They had enough time with his phone. They've had enough time to investigate. So regardless of whether or not he didn't provide the information on time, they've still been doing their due diligence over the course of the best part of nearly 2 fucking years now. So I don't know how long it is, but it's been a long, long time. So I don't know, mate. I just, it seems if they've got nothing substantial to actually get him, then they haven't got a pot to piss in, Gal. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how it all kind of plays out. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's just to me, it just felt like they were putting that in there as a bit of a backstop, just in case the main event didn't come off the way they wanted it to.
But to your point,
it cost them a ton of money.
Yeah, but to your point, right? If you believe, and I'm kind of with you on this as well, if Paqueta did leave and he was found not guilty and went to another club in the Premier League, I will be seriously annoyed about that. I won't be happy about it at all because we have backed this player. We have backed him. Yeah, and that's what I would find really disrespectful. I think he owes it to West Ham. If he sees this through and he's found not guilty, is to stick with West Ham and show us the best version of Paqueta again. Because we've not seen it. We've bought half a player, and that's not good enough, in my opinion. He needs to stay and prove himself for at least a season, and then go. Then I'll be all right with it.
Part of it, though, it could be that, look, he's spent the last year and a bit at West Ham with this cloud hanging over him. He needs a change of scenery.
Yeah, but he would have had that cloud hanging over him, regardless of where he would have gone to, Gal. That still would be hanging over him.
Yeah. So what's Claire got to say? Why is Claire? Not so wise with the last comment, but this one. If you were Paqueta and you knew you were completely innocent, would you want to stay at the club that you lived under a cloud at? Exactly what I was saying. I'll be gone, start afresh. Again, if that happened in my workplace. Yeah, I agree. So it's not, not saying it's anything personal. And again, he's paid handsomely, but he would have been paid more handsomely had this not happened.
Yeah, well, I get all of that, and I get what Claire's saying. I get what you're saying, but I also think to myself that this still would have been hanging over his head, Gal, regardless of what club he's playing for. It's not going to suddenly go away if he would have joined City. Of course he wouldn't have done. So I think he owes it to West Ham. I do. Where's the fucking loyalty nowadays? Where is that?
I also think there isn't any. It's money based.
Of course it is.
I also think that there is a something for the FA to think about here, because no matter what they decide to find him guilty of, if anything, even if they decide to find him guilty of withholding evidence, that is going to go to appeal. So it needs to be watertight. So they cannot just, because I know they're FA selected. I'm not suggesting that any of the lawyers are in bed with the FA, but they've been selected by the FA, handpicked by the FA for this tribunal. If they fancy giving a way out to the FA, that way out might not be a way out by the time it gets to the next level. and he can play while that's happening.
Yeah. Well, I guess only time will tell, as I've said on quite a few occasions. Only time will tell, but it'd be very interesting to see how this does actually kind of end up. It really
so Randy says he's got. It was a guy that was that represent. Oh, Johnny Cochran. Ronnie, the lawyer Paqueta's got. He's like the Johnny Cochran of football. He also got Leicester out of trouble with the points deduction they were going to get. So there's that to consider. That's why my confidence in Paqueta has increased. Yeah. No, honestly, from what I've seen, Randy, I think you're right on. Did he do it? There is no evidence now to say he did, but it's just those other things and whether they're fucking going to play a fast one on getting out of the people having the ability to sue him by finding him guilty of a lesser charge.
Yeah. Well, let's see, mate. Let's see.
Yeah. Well, I just hope that he's found completely innocent, and we all go after the FA because this has left a very, very bad taste in everyone's mouth. They're not leaking anything out about the trial, hardly at all. It is completely silent. It's completely silent. That is very different to what's gone on this past year with the FA speaking or leaking openly to the media about what has happened in this and trying to get him convicted by media before he stepped foot in the tribunal. I think it's been outrageous for a National Football Association to do that. Arseholes. So I hope they get everything they deserve. Yeah. He's got the Man City lawyers. Is that why, to do his case, there was a link the other day saying be off to Man City. Yeah, here we go. Funny that Paqueta has got the Man City lawyers to do his case. Will he be off to City if not guilty? That was mentioned the other day in some article that I didn't really take seriously. But you never know. You never know. How far progressed was that deal before this happened? Because if there was like a provisional agreement set up or something like that, and he turns out to be completely innocent, I don't know. I don't know how those contracts
I think it was very close, mate. I mean, come on, we were. I think it was very, very close to him joining City. Actually, I do. It just happened to come out almost in sync with, his move. I think it did.
Yeah. And Randy says, really just want to know the verdict now. Yeah. They've had another week to it, haven't they? They're just dragging it out. It's like they're trying to find a tenner down the back of the cushion, back of the sofa.
Yeah, it's true. If they had something substantial, we wouldn't need to keep dragging it out like this.
And he did try to leave at the start of the season. He tried to go off to Brazil. We wouldn't let him. So, look, what we don't want to do is lose all of the 50 million that was invested in Paqueta, right? Really, we don't. So, if I was thinking at the time, get a fee rather than no fee. Right, let's just sweep up these couple of other bits of news before we go. Freddie Potts signed a new deal.
Awesome news,
and he was mentioned by Potter in today's thing as well, wasn't he? Where he said that he'll be joining them for pre-season training, but the Portsmouth owner said he'll be first in the queue to sign him in the summer.
They can do whatever they want to do, but at the end of the day, I think he's coming back to West Ham. He's a West Ham player. He's obviously got a future at West Ham. Obviously, won't be signing a contract, so I think he's got every chance to, get himself a place in the team. I do. Natural progression year on year. League One, Championship, Premier League. I think he's proven himself. He's got something. Yeah. So I think that he could be a hugely better alternative to some of the midfielders that we do have at the moment, for sure.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just hope he can find a position for him, because at the moment he's neither a CDM nor an attacking midfielder nor a box midfielder. So
he's like an old school, isn't he? You'd play him in a 4-4-2 back in the mid-90s. It'd be that sort of midfielder at the moment. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how he develops at West Ham and what is going to be his natural position.
Well, he's played
be a 6, could be an 8, what's it going to be?
Portsmouth and at Wickham, right? So we'll see. We'll see how that develops.
Yeah.
Just to remind you, Potter was in Lille. This is what I was told, right? Potter was in Lille looking at Hakan Haraldsson from Lille, who is a 20 million valued, very, very highly rated attacking midfielder, not Angel Gomez, or Jonathan, Johnny, David.
Well, that makes sense. That link makes much more sense, because I don't see a chance in hell of us signing either of, Jonathan David or Angel Gomez. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah.
I don't. And that guy there, I've never heard of him before. So that's probably the guy that we're after.
Yeah. So he was apparently picked up by Kyle McCauley. Been tracking him for about a year.
Okay.
Deal, I was told, close. Selling fee and everything else, because I expect him to turn good. This guy. He's very good at the moment. Expect him to get even better.
As in immediately, like a player that's not for the future, but it's going to go straight to our team.
He's doing very, very well in the first team for Lille. He's kind of what we want. So when you were saying, someone said in the comments earlier, we need to get a replacement for Soucek. Bear in mind, Soucek don't play as a CDM, right? He's more often than not positioned in such a place that he finds himself playing as an attacking midfielder, weirdly.
Yeah.
You know, this would be the replacement, really. I know it sounds odd, but it would be.
Yeah,
I would love, wouldn't you, to see Potts and Skulls in the squad and Earthy.
I think Earthy needs a proper decent loan spell out because his loan spell's been pretty, bitty, isn't it, so far
Orford's
since
got to
he's
be
been.
ready. Orford's got to be ready, isn't he?
Don't know, mate. I've only seen him we've only seen him make one appearance at West Ham this season. I've not seen enough of him go.
Yeah.
Or is it 2 appearances he's made? So I don't know, mate. I'm not sure. I don't know about Orford.
Yeah, it is. I've got it written down here. Hakan Haraldsson, from Lille.
Haraldsson, yeah. I've never heard of him.
Because he's Finnish or Icelandic or something. So that's how they do their son, isn't it? Haraldsson.
Haraldsson. Yeah, I've not heard of him, mate. I'm usually quite clued up with some of these foreign players, but he's one I haven't.
Sometimes I've got information you don't, Chris.
Yes, I know, because you're better than me, girl. So, what can I say?
Well, look him up, because you're a big fan when you look him up, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You've been playing FIFA or something, mate.
Right. People getting carried away with Potts. Not really. Getting carried away with hope.
Yeah, it's optimism. We just hope it's going to come good, but I don't think it's getting carried away with him. We always love a young player coming through the the ranks and doing well at West Ham, getting into the first team.
The last words to the wise, Mrs. Katrina Chambers. I prefer it when we get players in under the radar and they surprise everyone. Yes.
Yeah.
So do I.
A bit like Marco Boogers back in the mid-90s. We never saw him come in, and he surprised everyone, didn't he, when he snapped Gary Neville's leg and went missing in a caravan. So, hopefully we don't see any players like that.
Didn't you have him pinned down to do a very rare interview with you, and then he went missing in a caravan?
He wouldn't do it. Like, honestly, we were going backwards and forwards exchanging messages, and he was being really nice, really nice. And then as soon as I kind of come out and said, right, I need to get you on because I want to hear your side of the story. He goes, I can't do it, Chris. I can't do it. He didn't want to do it. I don't know if he thought I was going to tear him apart. That certainly wouldn't be what I would aim to do. I just want to hear his story. Just let him talk. I think that'd be that'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear it.
I'd love to hear it, mate.
Yeah, everything around that era interests me because so much went on. Harry bought so many players. It was like a rotating door, wasn't it?
It was. But, when I was speaking to Ian Foy the other week, I asked him and I said to him, was he actually any good? He goes, oh, yeah, he could play. He could play. And this is maybe a slight misconception because Harry Redknapp's come out and said, oh, he was shite. Yeah. I think he's saying he's shite because obviously he signed him and apparently he signed him from a videotape or whatever it was. But I saw him playing the reserves. We've had this conversation before. I saw him playing the reserves. I remember, and I've got a ridiculously good memory from things in the past, but not from things I did quite recently. Yeah. I remember going to a reserve game, watching West Ham play, all right, not a great team, but playing against Swindon Town. Marco Boogers was playing up front with Don Hutchison, and he scored 2 absolute worldies. He scored 1 goal from an angle you couldn't even believe he did. And I was like, wow, he can do something here, right? So what Ian Foy said about him, he said, yeah, he could play. I think he actually probably could play, and he had a good goal scoring record in the Dutch league. I just think his head was in a different place, in a caravan.
On Gary Neville, I thought it was top draw.
Oh, I love that. And for that reason, he's a bit of a cult hero, isn't he? The way he just squared up to Roy Keane as soon as he cleaned him out, it was brilliant.
He didn't care, did he? He didn't care.
He didn't, yeah.
And that was the spirit of that West Ham team. Everyone got in Keane's face, didn't they? Just like, fuck off.
I'm gonna persist with Boogers because I think he would be brilliant to get on. And that's again goes back to what we try and do is to get players with just really weird and wacky and wonderful stories, stuff that we wouldn't have even thought about until you look back. You're like, you know what? He would be a great person to interview. He would, though, wouldn't he? He really would.
He would if his character comes out, definitely.
He might get really angry with me, mightn't he? Can you imagine that if he just goes off on one?
I want to know what was going through his head when he launched into that tackle and nearly broke both of Gary Neville's legs.
Yeah, I'd like to know that. I'd like to know that as well. But yeah, bowl accounts, I think he's a bit of a nutter. So maybe it's a good thing that I haven't got him on here.
Well, can't have him on there. Just call him nutter.
I know. Well, do you know what? He said to me, no, so I've got nothing to lose anymore with him. So who cares? Yeah. Who cares? Yeah. But no, I'm looking forward to Wolves tomorrow, though. Anyway, looking forward to Wolves. Hopefully, I won't get any kind of speeding fines or anything like that. Julia, just a quick one, Gav. Have you heard of this geezer that's going around? Right, there's this geezer who's going around on a bike in London, and he's got a GoPro camera on his head. Right, just a normal run of the mill guy, like nothing to do with the police, nothing. Right, he's like some kind of vigilante that goes around, cycles past people's cars, look in there, and they see if they've got a mobile phone. Right, and then he goes, right, I'm reporting you. and he'll write down there, you know,
No,
he's doing it. He's like got this massive following on TikTok, right? I only got wind of this over the weekend.
really?
Because I was in London.
What an
No,
arse.
get this though, it's awful. I was driving in London on Saturday, and Fred turned around to me because I had my phone. I was like, so I might have had my phone.
I'd be fucking struggling to throw me fag out the window. It'll fall back in. It'll set fire to me clothes.
Fred said to me, "Watch out for this fella who's on TikTok. He goes, he cycles over London. He's getting loads of people, and then you get 6 points on your license, right? If you've got your mobile phone in your hand, even if you're stationary and there's 10 cars in front of you and you're at a red light, right?
Yeah.
You got your phone out.
You got to have it in a holder.
Yeah. If you've got your phone like that, that's 6 points on your license.
I know,
do you know he got Guy Ritchie, you know, the movie director. He got Guy Ritchie pulled up to his car. He got done. He's been banned from driving. Guy Ritchie has. He pulled up. He's pulled up Chris Eubank. He's pulled up so many people, and people are getting really agitated by this guy. What's the point? What I mean,
complete arsewipe.
I know, it's amazing, isn't it? Like, what the hell is that all about?
Why are people patting him on the back? So fucking mind your own business, you prick.
Apparently, he went on like this morning or something, and Ben Shepherd, big West Ham fan, he called him out and he said, "So what you're doing at the moment, you're essentially a vigilante, but you're getting paid for this." No, but he's getting paid. He's getting paid for it, Gav, because he's got a decent following on social media. So people are watching and liking his videos. Whereas if he caught you, they'd be screwed. Like, he's such an arsehole. And there's been so many people banned from driving, points in their license. He's pulling people over left, right, and centre. You can't do anything. He's even blocking roads off.
Him?
Yeah, Cycling Mikey. That's the guy.
Mikey, Mikey.
Yeah. Cycling. Yeah. He's a South African geezer doing it.
Is he?
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, you go back to South Africa and do it over there, not here.
Exactly.
Because he's out of order.
Fucking fuck off back to Joburg. Yeah, look for people using mobile phones. I don't get that. I don't get that at all.
Yeah.
Well, I get it. He's making money out of it, but why would you?
No. So my hope is that I don't get caught by Cycling Mikey on my way to Wolves tomorrow. But I think not that I'll be on my phone, of course. I would never do that. But just don't want to get a fine, and I don't want Cycling Mikey to catch me. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's right. Anyway, look, thank you, Chris. Have a lovely day at Wolves and lovely evening at Wolves tomorrow. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thanks for your lovely comments. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. The Bobby Moore Stand on YouTube. Hit the bell notification icon and please give the video a like. Until next time, I'm going to find an outro. Yeah, I think it's still there, isn't it? It's still there with the old tourist, isn't it?
You got that one. I think we need to probably mix it up a little bit and put something else on there soon, no?
Yeah, no, I will. I've got Chris Rossi stuff I'm going to put on here. I haven't just got around to it yet. So anyway, look, here we go. It's Kennytown Land. Go to kennytown.com for all your artwork, your West Ham artwork. Till then, see you soon.
Come on your irons.
Come on your irons.
Hey Goldie, what's on today's to-do list?
Why, it's match day, Dave. Are you hoping for a full house tonight?
Not too fast. As long as we sell all the tickets. I don't care if you come down here.
We make more money from the tourists here, so I don't care if you come down here.
Nathan Philippi's got the boy for the night. His ex-missus said you better treat her, kitty right. Buys a kid a ticket and a burger and a Sprite. Got a train home, 200 Nicolai.
Cause I don't care if you come down here, cause you make more money from the tourists here, so we don't give a monkeys if you come down here.
Stop from the pocket, took a bully in the water. Never lost a rumble, but it can't get sore. Climbs more stairs than he did before. What's his old seat, then he's got to pay more.
Cause I don't care if you come down here, cause you make more money for the tourists here, so we don't give a monkeys if you come down here.
Because the cabbie only goes to football with his wife. He did it as a kid and he's done it all his life, but he don't get a winter fuel allowance anymore. So he's gonna sell his ticket to a bloke for Singapore.
I don't care if you come down here, cause you make more money for the tourists here, but we don't give a monkeys if you're here next year. I don't care if you come down here, cause you make more money for the tourists here, and I don't care if you come down here.